At this time, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Carver Conservation Commission for Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021. Based on our agenda, the first discussion is on a culvert at Cranebrook.
I don't see John.
I don't see John.
I texted him last week, when I told him not to come to the last meeting, and he said he was going to come. I didn't check today with him,
Okay.
but that's okay. I mean,
All right, we can push it off again if we need to.
not till the 17th, but
Maybe he'll be in later.
We can always come back. We don't have a lot tonight.
Harvesting is, we're probably waiting.
Yeah, could be. Next up is a discussion of the potential uses of 44 Lakeview Street.
I think we should make it a bowling alley.
make it a what?
Bowling alley?
Oh, yeah.
No?
I like
I
it.
think a machine gun range.
There you go. I like that too.
I mean, I gave you the rules.
Be aiming in the right direction. You know who's on the other side of that hill, right?
I mean, I gave you the rules. That was all I could find. But those
Right.
aren't really, something that. I think you guys already know that stuff. You know what I mean? That's like, but you want to know, like, basically.
I'd like to get some,
Like the house?
if I may, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Please.
I'd like to get some clarification because of the back and forth with the email concerning 44 Lakeview over access, insurance, keys, liability. You all got a copy of the email and my response to it where we have never asked O&M to do anything with that property. Dan's been kind enough to go down there and mow. I've offered my services. You've
Right.
been down there.
Yep.
We have to winterize that building. I don't want to burden the town with that. This was purchased with conservation land acquisition money. I don't believe the town should be responsible for doing that work. And if we're willing to do it, it saves the town. And I'd love to hear your opinion, Sarah. I think that, thank you.
Yeah, I think what we need to get, Sarah, is clarification on the ownership and the rights and responsibilities, et
Well,
cetera.
we know that the town owns the land. Right. There's no dispute with that.
My understanding is that we were to serve as the stewards of it.
I thought we
If
were
I-
too, but I'm
If I
sorry.
may, Mr. Chair, I can hopefully clarify a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for this to shut off so we can.
I know.
hear you.
Holy cow,
I
no.
don't know.
I'll speak right into the microphone.
Thank you, thank you.
It's a new system, so I don't know.
So, Brooke asked me to come and say what I could about this situation. And so I want you to know, first off, my goal here is cooperation and harmony, right? Because that's what we're all about. And Dan is right, as the term implies, conservation land is for conservation purposes only. So, we can't set up that bowling alley, sorry. It's for conservation
I tried.
purposes only. So the good news is that the Conservation Commission has care and, excuse me, I should tell you who I am for your
Oh,
minutes.
no.
I'm Sarah Hewins, that's Hewins, 52 Forest Street. So the Conservation Commission has care and custody of the land rather than ownership. And the ownership is a burden all by itself. The town does own it. It's a town-owned piece of property purchased with conservation funds. And what that means, essentially, is that the town also insures it. And so the town owns the policy. So, for example, if someone other than Conservation Commission members is down there and they haven't signed a waiver and they fall down the stairs, the town is liable.
Sure.
Or if they say they fell down the stairs, which is, potential. We hope not. But the other good news about it is that since it is in conservation's care and custody, it can't just be sold automatically. The only way it could ever be taken out of conservation purposes would be through an act of the legislature, not only the local legislature, but the state legislature. Because once it's in the care and custody of conservation, it's Article 97 land. And that's an amendment to the Constitution that makes it very hard to take land out of conservation. And that's a good thing. that was why last spring, I wrote a series of warrant articles transferring care and custody from
Yep.
certain parcels
That's right.
from the select
Yeah.
board to the Conservation Commission, because in 2019, an effort was made, she said in the passive voice, to sell those certain parcels, First Beach, Second Beach, Third Beach, in the Crystal Lake neighborhood, Bates Pond Beach, a number of other parcels. That effort was not successful, fortunately. But the reason it got as far as it could is because they were in the care and custody of the select board. Now they're in your care and custody, which is a good thing. As to the keys and that sort of thing, I did speak to our town administrator, Rick LaFond, about that. And what I suggested to him is that if we might do just the way we used to do when I was the conservation agent, the way we did with the coal property. There's the yellow gate across the coal property. Well, that has a Carver lock on it from the fire department. And at the time, the only people who had a key were the agent, the chair, and two with the DPW, which O&M, whatever you want to call it. And one of those keys was a spare for someone. They couldn't contact the chair, and Dan wants to go.
right.
He goes down to the DPW, signs out the key, and brings it back. And if Dan wants to lend it to Peg, Dan's still responsible for that key. And so, and the other thing that I think it's important to do, and that the town administrator suggested, is just to let the agent, the select board office, and the police department know. Maybe, and Dan's, just know who's there, what they're doing, when they're doing it, so that if something does happen,
Yep.
People know. And Dan's idea that he has suggested in our Trails Committee about the buddy system is something that I also highly recommend. Just again, you know what those stairs are like inside that building, and stuff happens. So I think it's pretty simple. I don't think there's a big to-do about this, but the town does have a liability for things that happen there. So the town administrator suggested that you guys are covered under the town insurance, but anyone else who's not on this commission who wants to go in there might, or who's not otherwise on a town board, committee, or commission, should sign the waiver that is available in the select board's office. Mrs. Weston has that waiver, and that's the same waiver that I brought to our meeting when we had our trails meeting. It's pretty standard. So
I would say, I just want to mention this, just because this is a recorded event, discussion. Even to date, with any projects, whether they be a scouting project on a conservation property, there are always two phone calls that I think we've been pretty consistent about using, and it seems to work in terms of making sure the lines of communication are clear, and that is by giving Brooke a courtesy call that there's going to be a project or a camp out or something going on. A courtesy call is called to the police to let them know that there are going to be some cars parked beyond the yellow gate in a designated spot, that they're clear, that they cleared was an okay area that wasn't in the way of the water district's access and parking. And then that's worked pretty well. I will say with the property, we haven't even gotten to the point where I think we're 2 years away from having any activity actually in the building anyway. Right now, the only thing that we've talked about is just getting it winterized and maybe doing some tree work around the building so that it doesn't become a dilapidated structure. So we have a lot of time to work out, I think, a standard operating procedure for actual usage of the building itself. But beyond that, I assume the waiver would also apply to activities on the property itself.
correct.
Yeah, okay, not just the house.
Sarah, this process of having Brooke with the key and me as chair with the key and a spare with DPW, is that?
Two keys with the DPW.
Right,
so that
one
if-
for them and one as a spare.
Right. The spare is sort of the safety key.
How do we enact that? We just,
You just have a sign-out book, either in the agent's office or in the DPW office.
All right, but how do we get the keys, is what I'm saying?
Just ask Dave.
Just ask.
I
Dave.
think, yeah, I would just ask
Okay.
Mr. Siedentoff.
The,
All right, so.
I'd actually probably ask Dave, I'd do it through Rick.
Yeah, yeah, do
That way
it,
you could say, we had a vote, this is the way it went, Sarah explained, blah, 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 and now
Yeah.
Okay.
you know, we're
Yeah.
gonna request 2 keys, whatever the case might be, you be in the custody of the key, or,
And Brooke.
yeah,
you
so,
and Brooke.
so 4 keys,
Yeah.
one the agent, one the chair, 2 at O&M, so they always have one. If that third one gets
Right.
lost, they always have the 4th one.
right.
Okay,
Um,
all right.
And to be clear, we went through that exact procedure with the town administrator having me sign
Right.
sign a form, and the key was picked up at John Wood's office.
mhm.
And for the purposes of getting contractors potentially into the house to get an idea of what things might cost when we're in a position to
Yeah.
create a plan. That was it.
Do you
Yeah.
have the key?
I do.
You do. All right, so we can consider that one of the 2. Brooke will
Yeah,
get
so
one.
you
and then-
should-
I thought we did have one.
And
You
so-
asked for
And
more,
third
right?
one.
And so the DPW or O&M would be the ones to make copies of the key.
Right. So you should probably give your key to Savory,
Mhm.
and then sign it out when you need it.
Yeah.
And my only argument was, with the email was, that if the town was the only one that had a key, and we wanted to go in there on a Saturday, because some of us work, we would be unable to get access because town hall's closed.
Right, right.
So we needed someone on the commission to have access to it, so that if, you know, I had some time on a Saturday or a Sunday, or if Dan wanted to get together on a Sunday morning and we'll go, you know, chop down a cherry tree or something like that, we would be able to gain access.
So you can also obviously check it out on Friday morning if you know you're
Yes,
going to be
if you know
there
we're-
Sunday.
yes.
You know,
Right.
That's true.
so.
While you're here, I received a call. Elaine gave my name to the insurance carrier
Okay.
for the town of Carver.
Mhm.
And currently, the structure on the property is insured because we have a tentative use of an educational facility.
That's great.
But if after a certain amount of time, it's deemed uninhabited or vacant,
Mm.
the town's insurance policy no longer covers it. And there's a separate insurance that has to be taken up.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to hear from another representative from the insurance company.
Okay.
I talked to one person, gave her all the information, answered all her questions, and she said, all right, I've got to give this to so-and-so, and that person will call me back to get a little bit more detail
Right.
on the potential use, just so that you know
Mhm.
that this is forthcoming. This all happened at the end of last week.
That's
So-
great. So what's the deadline for?
The expiration date.
What's the
It was-
expiration?
She didn't say. All
Okay.
she said is that, you know, I'm going to put it down as being an educational facility for now, but
Okay.
at some point, if
Yeah.
it's still vacant, we're going to have
It'd
to
be
do
nice
something.
to
So will
know
the
what that
commission have
point
to pay
is.
for the new insurance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will find out when
No?
I talk to the
Yeah.
person who
So-
evidently is more in line with exactly what's going on
Okay.
there. So
Okay.
I will let
So
everyone know.
technically, Dan could have a not tying class for the Boy Scouts once a month, and that considers use.
It could.
You know?
Yeah.
I assume the
very well
power is still on in the building?
No,
No?
there's no power on.
There's no power in the building? Really?
I think that's why, Mr. Badger was thinking of making that building into an example of all things conservation and
Yeah.
having it power itself with solar panels and so on. That way we're not, it's even less a burden to the
Sure.
town, you know?
I don't have a problem with that, provided we can get the solar panels donated and stuff like that.
Yep, and there are some other potential technologies too that are appropriate for that area. That they may just serve as a display piece for those technologies.
But no power means no heat. No heat means we have to
Correct.
winterize that.
Which needs to
building.
be winterized.
Pipes apart left
Okay.
and right.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about under this heading, is let's set a date to go in there and shut
Yeah,
everything
let's shut
down.
it all, bring a compressor and stuff like that, and I'll bring a generator if we need to, we blow the lines out.
All right.
Yep, I have a general contractor that will volunteer his time to help us with that.
I'll be happy to do whatever we need.
Do we
to
want to, can we set a date pretty
Pick the
quickly?
date, I'm fine with that.
I mean, Saturdays are good for you?
Saturdays and Sundays.
It's starting to get cold.
I am good this weekend. I'm available this weekend.
Saturday morning, I'm running to the auction, but I'll be home in the afternoon.
Dan, what's your timeline like?
Super busy this weekend.
A week from this weekend would be better, probably. We're not gonna get into sub-freezing weather, so.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm gonna be in Maine on a week from
That's a good
Saturday.
place.
Yeah.
You be back for Wednesday?
The 17th?
Hmm.
Not sure.
Oh, Jesus, you better be.
I'm kidding. I'm coming back Saturday
You
afternoon.
better
Well, for your stay.
Yeah.
Really?
You
No,
better
then
not
you'd
get
sit here.
stuck up there by mistake or something.
As of right now, and I
Yeah.
can only hold the date for 48 hours, but as of right now, Saturday the 13th looks available.
But you're
Saturday
not
the
here, you said.
13th. Yeah, I'm.
That
Yeah,
you're
but
not-
it's not gonna be a big deal.
I'm in Maine.
It's a very quick, easy process to blow lines.
Well, if we don't need
Sure.
all three of us.
No.
No.
Hmm.
You need a compressor and a generator, and we blow some lines up.
Okay.
So
All right.
It's pretty basic.
So do you want to coordinate with Dan?
Yeah, I'll call you
Week from
tomorrow.
this Saturday?
I'll call you tomorrow.
A week from Saturday.
Yeah, call me tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
That's fine.
Cool.
Also, regarding this property, Dan has spoken to a tree person to clear, Sarah, while you're still here,
Yes.
there are 4 trees right along the driveway adjacent to the house that you had mentioned as being invasive. Do you recall that?
They're the Norway maples, they're invasive, and that locust tree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the cherry trees aren't really invasive, but other trees don't like them.
Okay.
They don't play well with others, cherry trees.
The reason I ask is that part of what Dan's tree guide looked at was the branches that are overhanging the house and whether they're touching the shingles. And, you know, the roof is fairly new, but still, if it's touching the house, it's going to,
Can't we just knock the whole tree over?
that's what I was thinking. Why prune it
We
if,
don't need a
if,
tree guy then, we just knock the whole tree over.
Well, and
So there is actually one oak on the other side of the house that is actually coming over top
yeah,
of the
so
house.
you want to keep
So-
the oak, but maybe that's the one to prune.
to prune
If
and
it's
then
hanging over the
Yeah.
house.
take the others down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
And you know which ones are the Norway maples. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the front 3 and then the locust is
Yeah.
behind. And also, at the same time, we were out there
Tuesday.
yesterday,
Yeah. Yeah.
speaking
Yes,
to,
yeah, to Mike
you and
Duffy.
Dan went, and
Yeah.
then I actually, on my way back from Plymouth, Dan's car was still there, so I stopped in and I spoke to him too.
Oh, okay, oh, good.
So,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about that a little bit, even though it's not on here, but just a little bit.
What's the cost of the tree guy?
He goes by the day. It's about $1,500 a day, but
So let's just have him trim the oak, and we'll cut the other ones down ourselves.
There are, well, what I was getting to is that there are 2 relatively large trees that blew over at the shoreline.
right.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have an excavator.
Okay. This is stuff you think we can just take care of?
Go back there and pick it out of there and cut it up.
Okay.
Put it out in the street, put a free firewood sign on it, it'll be gone in a half an hour.
You're not wrong.
It's big, it's a big tree that fell.
No, I
Be
think,
surprised.
I think that's at every street, every address in town has
They'll
that
come
right
in,
now.
It's hardwood, they'll come and get it right away.
Well, okay.
And I'll volunteer the excavator and the Kubota and whatever else you need. We can pull it out of where it is, get it out of there. We can save
All
the
right.
concept. By all means, have the guy go up and trim, because he'll do it from a harness and everything else. But the big stuff we can drop from the ground, just let it fall over, we'll cut it up and move it.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
if
he's
we're-
got a bucket truck. He can just come in and get it done pretty fast.
If,
Yeah, but we're not trimming the other trees, we're taking them down, is that
Right,
right?
right.
So we don't need the bucket truck, we just need to cut them at the.
Well,
at the
he'll need
base
the
and let
bucket
it
truck
fall
too.
over.
You want
To
him to
prune
chip
the
all
oak.
those branches and get that stuff out of there. You don't want to deal with that's
I have a
piles.
chipper.
You have a chipper? Oh,
if we're paying for the day, shouldn't we just have him do as much as he can in a day? And then we'll do the rest,
That's-
starting
he's
with.
gonna get it. He's gonna get it done in a day.
Yeah, that's a
All right,
lot.
You
I
put it in
mean,
the shoreline?
No, we hadn't looked at that.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's a
you know,
good
I
size
think,
tree.
wood.
I think if we're paying
What's
for a
that?
day,
And
we
it
might
gets
as well
the-
have
I
him.
know, it's gonna take Alan, it's gonna take you a long time, there's a lot of
The
stuff
trees
there.
down by the shoreline, that's a day's work, right?
And that's
a-
day's
that's a
work.
big tree, that one that
They're
fell.
2 big ones.
Yeah, too.
We can pull them up out. So,
Yeah, I understand that. but
Oh,
still.
have them do have them do all, whatever he gets for a day.
Okay,
I
so
just don't want it to turn into a, $10,000 bill. That's all.
that would have to come out of the
Maintenance account.
maintenance account,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right? So I think we need to have a vote on that.
That's a friendly rate, by the way.
Yeah, I think that can actually come out of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, but I believe that can come out of the land acquisition fund also because it's
It can.
maintenance of that property. I'm
Right.
not sure that it may come out of the separate maintenance account. I think we have one of those too.
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Right.
we do.
So the land acquisition fund is not just for the purpose of buying land
Right.
or down payments, but it's also
to
for
maintain.
anything pertinent to the acquisition. So it's
So-
not, it's
Okay.
not for maintenance.
So I think it's not for maintenance.
Oh, it's
No,
not.
That's not, no, you've already bought it. So the
Okay.
maintenance is not to help you buy the
So
property.
the
Oh,
maintenance
right,
account
okay.
would cover that then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. So we
So
do.
we could make a motion and have it come out of the maintenance fund. Is that right?
Yes,
We could pull it out of the maintenance.
Yeah.
account.
all right. So
I'll make that motion.
All right, do we have a second? It's been moved and seconded to,
Up to 1,500
up to
for one
1,500?
day?
Yeah,
Or do you want
I
to-
brought him down to 1,500.
Huh?
He's usually $3,000 a day. So,
So do you want to
yeah.
allow for an extra half a day in case, or do you want to just, why don't we make the motion for,
2 grand.
have them do it for the day?
all right,
Plus a half a day, we'll give him a fudge factor in there in case he's got to come back for the other half a day or something. but not
does he
2
do
full
half days?
They do have days.
So,
Okay.
22.50.
22, all right, so a motion's been made and seconded to approve $2,250 for tree work at the 44 Lakeview Street property.
At the house, though,
At the
not
house.
the waterfront. You
The-
all right with that, Jim?
Pruning the oak tree on the west side and the removal of the 4 trees on the east side. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Approved unanimously. One more thing regarding Lakeview Street. When Dan and I were speaking to the abutting neighbor yesterday,
Abutting being
uh,
Mike Duffy.
42.
the
40.
nice house or the one
40
being built?
The one being
One
built.
being built.
The one being built. He mentioned that there was someone camping
Mm.
Yeah.
on our property,
Yeah, somebody told him that.
on the property.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got-
we looked for evidence of it, and there wasn't any, but they say that he comes and sleeps down there and then packs his stuff up and leaves, goes to work.
Okay,
You could do the same thing on Savory Ave. I mean, it's, he's
Yeah.
not in the house.
Right, and somebody told Mike Duffy that, I don't, it was a neighbor who
It was
across the way.
no,
or
there were a couple
something.
neighbors that called me about it too.
Oh, they did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
so.
Night watchman.
I mean, he cleans up after himself.
If you don't even know he was there, then,
No.
you know,
There's no little
Well-
fire pit or anything.
he's not camping across the street.
But
That was his
at some
second
point,
choice.
he's not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of
What
weird.
would you suggest? We don't know who it is, what are you gonna, wait till, and have him, spoken to? I mean, just, the board's been made aware of it, but what else are you gonna do at this point?
Unless we catch him.
Is you gotta catch him?
Would the police be willing to drive by and check it out?
That's what I was thinking, have him go check
Yeah.
a couple of
Mm.
nights and just,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
The giveaway
We
will
can
be
talk
the
to
little
him.
campfire he's got going to try to keep.
He doesn't leave, I didn't see any evidence of like a fire or anything, so I don't,
Well, I think that we just ask the police
Yeah,
department
that's
to go by a couple of nights in a
Yeah.
row. If they don't see anything, then we'll just let it go until
Right.
we get another report,
right,
Yeah.
right.
right?
Just, you know what, it'd be good to have, maybe you send just an email to the chief.
Okay,
Make him aware that we're aware.
Yeah.
And let him be put on notice. Just
Okay.
when they're driving down
Yeah.
Lakeville, take a peek.
okay.
Let them drive in the back of the Council on Aging and look out
Yeah.
back, blah, 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 just so that they're
Yeah.
just so that they're made aware of it.
Yeah,
What about a trail cam? Would it be
But
worth it if
We're
we
not
think?
looking to arrest the guy, so.
No.
No, we're not looking to arrest the guy. In this town, trail cams aren't necessary because
Yeah, I think it
everybody sees
covers us
everything.
If we just notify the police, if we notify them that we're aware of it, make them aware of it,
Yeah,
and that's it. I mean, if the guy, brings in 27 other people and they start having a commune there, then we have to deal with it,
right,
but,
right, but, at some point, as we develop the property to be more
Yeah,
conservation, we're not
exactly.
gonna be able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have that
that's
there. Is there anything else regarding 44 Lakeview? Anybody have any other comments, questions?
No, the only thing I was going to say is in terms of educational use, the backfield will be used on a monthly basis for doing usually scout programming just because of its proximity.
Did you want to store stuff in the garage?
So I was going to ask
Because
for.
that should be dealt with also in,
Yeah.
in affirmation if we're going to allow that.
So there is a shelving unit that is right now in the garage. It's not set up or anything, but is in the garage. That we wanted,
$215 at Walmart and Home Depot.
Home Depot.
that we wanted basically for
Just
not
take
just
down
for
shelves.
scouts, but for the trail and conservation stewards to be able to store hand tools and things like that for conservation projects and trail cleanup projects. That's mostly what's there, what we want to have there on the shelving. In addition to some camping equipment that would be used by the scouts on the conservation properties.
The only caveat to that would be that if any of it is saws and hatchets and chainsaws or whatever, that you're the only one that's responsible for it, and I don't believe that there'd be any insurance coverage on it if something were to happen to this. Who owns all that stuff? Is that your stuff that you're donating, or who
There's
actually owns it?
there's no power equipment of any kind, no fuel tanks. It's all literally just hand tools, rakes, things like
Okay.
that, and
Is
they're
it
not in there.
yours, or is it,
They're not in there yet.
Who belongs to them?
who owns it?
Who owns them?
Well, between all the scout families and stuff like
Okay.
that, we're all kind of
Privately
pooling
owned.
together to get stuff for when we have volunteer events and things like that, so we can,
As long as you take responsibility for the storage of the stuff,
yeah.
you know.
I don't want anybody
have a
else messing
problem
with it, so yeah.
Now, is there a lock on the door?
Not, the garage, no, I don't have
You
any
know,
key to
we've
the
asked for a
garage.
new, this is what started the whole thing, is I asked for a new lock to be installed, and Dave did his due diligence. He
Mhm.
let the office know up here, and that's what started that whole chain of events.
All right, and where do we stand on the lock? Do we know?
I have not heard another word until tonight, so I would, I think we can request
Well,
that,
I think you can purchase a lock and just do
you're
it
looking for a
through.
door lock, right, not a new garage door lock.
Well, I mean, there's a back
Yeah,
door
lock.
to the garage, so I suppose a lock could be put on that back
Yeah,
door.
that's
And
what I
then,
would-
and then lock the garage from the inside.
Yeah.
That might be the
So,
easiest.
so
thing
you
to do.
could purchase that and then get reimbursed from your maintenance fund.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Okay.
do that
Why
then.
don't you throw a hat,
And
make
then-
sure you, if you have extra keys, make sure that O&M gets one,
Too.
or two rather, so they can get in the building without having to use a hammer.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that takes care of that one.
Okay.
Speaking of reimbursement, our next line item on the discussions is the use of the Wetlands Protection Fund for the
For the
open
survey,
space
yeah.
and recreation survey
Yeah,
that was sent out to everybody.
Yeah.
And it is for the stamps that were purchased.
yeah.
All the printing and folding and
Mm-hmm.
things like that were supplied by Serped.
Yeah,
The Open Space and Recreation Committee had a envelope stuffing party, and we had $700 and something worth of stamps.
No,
Really?
I purchased $986
Okay,
for 1,700 stamps.
1,700. Okay, we sent a.
So we owe you that? Do you have
Yes,
to
so,
sign
so
off on that?
the
Yeah.
outer envelope, I ran in the mailroom, in the mailing machine, and that got charged to the Wetlands Protection Fee Fund.
yeah.
I happen to know exactly what you guys have in it, and it's a nice, healthy account.
It is, and it's something that MACC would, you
Right.
know,
Oh, yeah.
I've checked with them on what
Oh,
we can
yeah,
use it for. It's
that would be
definitely,
fine.
yeah.
So, so the outer envelope got metered, and I took them all down to the post office every day, 500. But it's the inner, and it's the inner actual survey that needed the stamp, so people would mail it back. And they are coming in at a nice clip, so that's good. So, yeah, it was 900, I have the receipt here and the reimbursement form. The Open Space and Recreation Plan Steering Committee approved that, but you guys need to approve it too because it's your money. So
Right.
if if I may, ask for your approval.
And that will, they'll reimburse you, you're out of pocket on this?
Yes.
I was out of pocket on this, correct.
Then I would, can I see that? I'm sorry.
That's right.
Only so when I make the motion, I want to be able to make it clear.
Here's how much you have in there. Don't use that.
Yeah, because remember I looked up, when Jill or something looked up one of the funds and it was in the minus. And I said that's not the
That's not
wetlands,
it.
that's
We
not the
don't-
wetlands.
we
protection
don't
plan.
have any
No.
minus funds.
No, we don't.
So that's why I wrote back and said that was just an accounting number.
Yeah,
I don't even
you're right.
know
It was.
what it
yeah.
was, but no, you guys have a nice copy account.
So I would make a motion that this board approve a reimbursement to Sarah Ewens on behalf of Open Space and Recreation, stamps for the mailing the survey to 1,704 households in Carver in the amount of $986 even.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to reimburse Sarah Hewens for the amount just mentioned,
$986.
$986 even,
And to be paid out of the Wetlands Protection Fee.
to be
Yes.
paid out of the Wetlands Protection Fund. Discussion? Anyone? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, approved unanimously.
Thank you very much.
I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that you, down here somewhere,
Okay.
I would go under supervise and just put approval and the
I
vote.
agree, I agree.
5-0,
And did,
and the date.
did you give that to Lori?
And then she
To
can
get-
give that to
So
Laura.
I'm gonna make a copy of it and
Yes.
the receipt. I should have made a copy of the receipt because it's on that paper that disappears.
That's okay.
after a
And then
while.
you give it to Laura.
Yeah, I give it to
Yeah.
the treasurer's office.
Yeah, because I still have to get reimbursed for the recording of the Wenham.
We're not giving you anything.
I recorded it,
That's okay.
$107 you owe me.
The cost
You'll
of
get
doing
it.
It's the price you have to pay for being here.
I was trying to go through the process and it was right when Jim was leaving and he was doing it and he wasn't
Yeah.
doing it and I didn't know what
No,
to do.
the wheels turn slowly, but they'll get there.
Would you make a copy and let us have it for the
I
record?
I certainly will.
Just so we have it in the record, but you're all set to say we signed off.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I need at least 3 commissioners to sign.
Oh,
You can do it. I can get one of those forms.
Do you want all five?
That's even better, but I need at least a
I'll throw it
majority
over
of
to
the commission.
The senior member, anywhere in here.
Okay.
And we'll have everybody else
Okay,
sign it too.
thank you.
Because you know Peg will be upset.
She'll feel left out.
Oh, here we go. This takes about 10 minutes because of the name
Get the long name here. What do you want to sign, kiddo?
underneath Jim.
No,
Anywhere.
OMH, how's that?
Wow, look at you. You're learning.
Ah.
The dog can't sign.
Uh,
He's getting real good.
Anywhere to the bottom.
Just right here.
Used to be all wild and everything.
Oh, so cute, isn't he?
Taking every bone in my body and I just snuggle with them.
I wish I could sleep like that.
All right, we have one more item on the
Like my
discussions,
cats
but
do.
I would, since we have a gentleman waiting for the new hearing, we'll move the last item under discussions till after the hearing,
Okay,
all right?
Yeah.
I'll put the-
So,
We don't need the receipt from the post office, just that form. Just so she has it in the file. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I'm moving the last discussion item to after the new hearing.
Oh, that's a good
yeah,
idea.
that
Poor
way.
gentleman over here is looking for the popcorn machine.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sarah. All right, new hearings, Lot 10, Stanley Lane. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:00 PM on Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021, in Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the notice of intent submitted on behalf of Jack Reardon, CE Development LLC, for the construction of a single-family dwelling with associated subsurface sewage disposal system, drinking water well, driveway, utilities, and grading. Specifically, the NOI is for clearing and grading of a woodland area to create a larger backyard within the 100-foot buffer zone to wetland resource area bordering vegetated wetland, and the installation of the well within a 65-foot buffer zone. The installation of the well will require a variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Section 9.2.1.3/3 for the activity within the 65-foot buffer protected under the bylaw. The project is located at Lot 10, Stanley Lane, Carver, Massachusetts, map 36, Lot 2-23. All interested parties are invited to attend. And this is DEP SE 126-631. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Gregory Drake from Outback Engineering, is representing the applicant. You all got plans. You need to stay near the mic, or does it matter?
As long as we can hear you,
Yeah.
it's more for the,
More for like the audience and stuff.
The
There's no
audience.
Hold the mic a little bit closer to you.
Oh,
Okay, I can stay on this side. Right, so as I said, I'm Gregory Drake from Outback Engineering, representing CE Development. We are here because the applicant would like to expand their backyard and do a little additional clearing and grading, as well as install a well that's in the 100-foot buffer of the bordering vegetative wetland that's down here. All this work is associated with a new single-family home that they're building, already under construction, with a garage and septic system and driveway and such. And all this work is outside the buffer, and it's just the grading work for the new larger backyard and the well. Most of the work is outside the 65-foot no-build zone, and it's just the well that we ended up putting it farther back because it needs to be at least 150 feet from any of the septic systems, whether it be the one that's on site or on the next site over, and the one that's going to be on this site is going to be up here. So I'll open up to any questions you have.
we did a site visit.
Yeah, we did a site visit, and it was Dan and Brooke and I, and Coda was there.
Code-
Coda doesn't have a vote.
Oh,
Sorry.
But Coda has a voice.
he has
Not
a
right
voice.
now, he doesn't. He's
Okay.
sleeping.
All right. We went and looked at this, and the existing topography going down to the wetlands is just about perfect for extending a yard. It's gradual, but then it drops off pretty steeply at the end.
Yeah, I see that.
The entire area between the 65-foot buffer where they're going to clear for the lawn and the edge of the wetlands is all understory, and it's very, very thick.
Yeah.
And very tough to get through, so, I don't see that as becoming an expansion,
No.
an unwarranted expansion there. That was my opinion. And it's a pretty big wetland
Yeah.
back there.
And we did discuss with them about putting in the, our posts,
Our signs.
the plaques.
With our little signs.
Right, and obviously the well is not an issue. The well has to be where it has to
No,
be.
we've done that.
We've
many,
allowed
many
wells
times, I think.
in the 65-foot certainly before, and as more and more of these developments, especially on cul-de-sacs, come in, they have to go where they have to go. Right?
Mhm.
And that's-
Personally, I'm thrilled. Thank you for coming to the commission and asking. Because if this were my lot, and I didn't ask, that would be where my lawn would eventually go anyway. So I appreciate that. I don't have any issue with the well being in the 65. We've done that numerous times. And given the fact that literally you step off the deck and you're in the 100, I don't have any issue with extending that backyard to the 65. I don't have a problem with that at all. given the size of the house, I don't think that's, and you said you looked at it, this
Yeah.
is,
Yeah,
there's an extensive room back there anyhow. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're destroying anything.
right, and, you know, we've been to other places where, there was a sharp drop-off up in North Carver, and there was
Yep.
one that had that almost cliff
Oh,
that they
you
wanted
mentioned it,
to-
I think, wasn't it?
they
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
part of the backyard, and we didn't allow that. But this seems to be, you know, a fairly easy approval.
Yeah, what's growing in there now? Just, Brush,
It's
or
a
is
tree
it-
line and brush, and,
Yeah.
you know, there are a couple of trees, but
Yeah, there weren't a lot of
there
really
weren't a lot.
trees that, yeah.
It's a lot of understory, a lot
Like,
of
a lot of briars and stuff.
briar, eight
actually,
to
I
10
know.
foot shrubs,
Yeah.
not shrubs, just
Yep,
twigs. And it's thick.
yeah,
If we couldn't even walk down to the
Mhm.
wetlands. We had to look at the
Yep.
pink flags from quite a distance,
Yeah.
because we couldn't get through.
you talking about, are they talking about putting grass back there for a lawn?
Yeah, I would assume, yeah. 'cause
So we'd ask for an organic fertilizer kind of thing. We just don't wanna have,
Yeah,
you know,
you can put that as a condition.
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
we can do that. Anyone else have any other?
No, as long as you've got the posts, I don't see we have an issue.
Yep.
It's not as if it's gonna extend further if they've got their posts
Yeah.
telling them
How many,
this is the
how many
limit.
posts you think?
1, 2, well, because of the jog, I would say 5.
Well, what we should point out is that the what does the scalloped line represent on your plan?
Was that the limit of work? Was that the limit
Is
of
that the
work?
limit of work, the scallop line?
No, that's tree line.
Well,
Tree
there are no
line-
there are no trees between lot 10 and lot 11. Those are all gone.
Lot 10, 11. So
I
over here?
mean, 9 and 10. There are no trees along the 100-foot buffer.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that should have been, those
So
should have been taken
those are
out,
gone.
yeah.
So this area here is devoid of, there's
Well,
not a
my
tree
only
line here.
thought was to start here and put a sign,
Right.
a sign, and then one over here, one over, like maybe 4 or 5.
All right, so I think the
Just so
question,
we cover that little jog, and we keep the access area to the wellhead as narrow as possible.
all right.
You need to be able to get to it, obviously, to maintain it,
Right.
but we don't want, we don't want that to turn into a 12-foot wide path, that's all.
Right, I guess my question is, at the width of the property at the back of the house, that is between the 100-foot and the 65-foot, you're indicating only about half of it being cleared for the lawn?
Down in here?
Yes.
Across the whole back, I think he's talking about, I think he's talking about the other dimension.
No,
Isn't this it, from here to here?
no, I'll explain my question. It's easier to do it on the map. All right, you're asking to put a lawn here, right?
Right,
Between here and
exactly.
here.
Yep.
But this already is clear, from here up.
Oh,
So
so they cleared, okay.
this is all clear. Between this house, between this foundation and this house that's already built, this is all clear already. So the question is, is this what you want, and then it's gonna go along the 100-foot?
Yeah, because
Where-
we're building
where is
a
that?
retaining wall right here, so the
Okay.
whole idea is to,
Just have this, okay?
yeah.
All right, so then you're right, we only need I was thinking we might need them
I
across the
hear what you're
entire.
saying. So you're gonna stay within that solid line you've got drawn from pretty much the edge of the retaining wall down, the jog around the pool, the well, and back up.
That's the, yeah,
That
that's,
interior area is what
Okay.
you're referring to.
All right,
So nothing down on that that bottom side.
you mean down in here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, there's
okay,
no,
good. All right, then,
Um,
what did you say, 4?
I think I said 5.
5?
1,
All right,
2, 3, 4, yeah, 5.
okay.
On the 65, those are on the 65?
On the
On the
65, but
65.
it will jog around, we can mark it on
Okay.
one of the plans and
Okay.
what we're asking for. And this is gonna specifically exclude, this is gonna be the approval for just this.
Yes,
It's not gonna include this.
that's correct.
Because this runs
Well,
This one's
this,
all the way down to
yeah,
here.
right, but this, what I'm saying, this triangle's already clear.
Yeah, but that's above the 100. They can do what
Yeah.
they want there. It's this
Yeah.
area here that I'm
Yeah.
referring to.
That this is gonna remain as is.
That's gonna remain the way it is. Okay.
No, because you don't want any confusion from the homeowner, because once they move in and.
Yeah,
But at least
Do
they're
it now.
asking, and we're giving them what they want, so it's not gonna include the area between the green and the red outside of that jog where the
with the well.
is.
Yeah.
All the way down that other side, because that's not, but above that green line, they do whatever they
Do
want.
whatever they want.
It's out of the hundreds.
Yeah.
Okay.
You all right with that, Dan?
Yeah, and you
Dan's the
understand,
tough guy.
you understand that there can't later be structures put in between that 165-foot
Down
span,
here.
correct? Yeah, like
Right.
later.
No,
like the homeowner's gonna
No,
have to
because-
understand that.
Okay,
you guys won't be very happy if they
well, yeah.
do that.
Well,
and then the
yeah.
homeowner, they,
Right, we
Yeah.
could put it as a condition on the order, the question is, do they actually read the order of conditions
Well,
when they buy
It
the
doesn't
house?
matter whether they read it or not, the
Yeah.
point
Right.
is the order of conditions
Yeah.
is enforceable.
It will say no structures or anything
Yeah,
else.
you
you're
just
gonna
put-
stick your shed
you're
in
gonna
there.
put a sign up by this-
Building out here, that's fine.
by
but
the
they
wall
can't put
near
that.
the 100 here too?
What's
or
that?
Are you gonna put a sign up?
The,
No,
No, I don't think so.
Signs are all gonna be on the 65.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
So the homeowner's gonna know,
Yeah,
you should know,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know, with
Yeah.
those signs there that they
Yeah.
can't.
Because the signs really delineate the no touch.
right.
Yeah.
There just seem to be, there are times when people say that they did not know, and just so that you know, even things beyond that 100-foot and between that 100-foot, 65-foot, that has to come before
Right.
us, no matter who says what.
Right.
Just so I think that I'd like to see that in the order of
Yeah,
conditions
yeah.
for.
Yeah,
Any
but most of our orders conditions say that, then anything else within the 100 foot, you need to come back to
Yeah.
conservation, yeah.
There you go.
okay.
That's why the signs work, because, yeah.
Well, the signs work, but the other question I had is in terms of what your plan of access is, because there is some clearing that is gonna be done on this one section beyond the 65, where you've got the silt fence that's actually beyond the 65. So,
Over in here?
yeah. So, is your plan of that, because of the grade, I assume that the access for the excavator is actually having to go beyond that to get at it, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we can tighten that up to the 65 too. I mean, if you
Yeah,
want to. but
I would do that. I think that,
It's graphically there, but if we get the signs out there and properly thing, I
And
mean.
as far as the access to the wellhead goes, they can wood chip that.
yep,
Yeah, they usually do,
Yep.
you know.
So it still is accessible without having to cut
Right.
through briars and
Right.
bramble and everything.
Yeah, if you could put that in the order too, that
Please.
this section is gonna be
Yeah, you
all
can
wood
check
chips
it,
or
so
mulch
you-
or something
Yeah.
like
So you
that.
can get to it to maintain the wellhead, otherwise, 3
Yeah.
years from now, when the well craps out, now you're running through
Yeah,
all kinds of brush
It's all
and
overgrown.
bramble
That stuff
and
that's there
briars
will
and
spread too, yeah. It's pretty nasty.
End up doing more damage to the area than if you just wood chipped it and kept it as almost a path to get to the wellhead.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
all right. So we need
A motion to close?
a motion to close.
Make a motion to close, there's nobody in the audience. So. Make a motion, we close the hearing for Lot 10 Stanley Lane, DEP SC 126631.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded to close the hearing on 10 Stanley Lane, DEP SC 126631. Discussion? You had it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Make a motion, we approve the NOI for Lot 10 Stanley Lane, DEP SC 126631.
We have a second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the NOI for DEP SE 126631, 10 Stanley Lane. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Approved unanimously.
I make a motion, we approve a variance for Lot 10 Stanley Lane, NEP, NOI DEP SE 126631, with the following conditions. That the lawn be allowed within the proposed drawing area between the 100 and the 65. That there be 5 wetlands markers along the proposed silt fence, the 65-foot line, as well as the jog down around the well, a total of 5. That they can wood chip the area, the path going to the proposed well.
How wide of a path do you think? Do they need?
What do you think? You need 8 feet,
Yeah, if you need to,
To the well?
10 feet,
yeah, 10 feet.
10 feet,
Okay.
10
You
foot
probably
wide.
need that to get the well rig in there. You
Yeah,
need
that's
10
right.
feet.
10 foot,
So-
10
Right.
foot wide down to the well. And that there be no structures,
Yep.
storage or otherwise, put within the 100-foot buffer.
Yep.
Is that good?
And if they want anything in
Yes.
the future, they have to come back to us, which is
Well,
what I usually.
that would be
put, yeah.
part of the
Yeah, right.
order of conditions. And that, and then we'll sign, pick a copy.
Okay.
We'll draw on one of the copies. You've
All
got
right.
your colored pens, you can mark where you want the.
All right.
You can mark where the
Research.
plaques are, where you wanna put the plaques on there.
Well, we've got it right here, we might as well.
All right, it's been moved to grant the variance for 126. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Peg. All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the variance for 10 Stanley Lane, DEP SC 126-631, for the area that accesses the well, based on the conditions indicated by Mr. Germain.
Anything I left out?
No? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it's approved unanimously.
You wanna do this one?
Sure.
I'm gonna, you haven't got your colored pens?
I don't.
Brooke, you got any colored pens? Magic marker, crayons?
I got magic marker. One regular
Yeah,
magic marker.
green will work.
Or I get a yellow.
Yeah, green's good. There's a red line, so I'm just gonna, before you leave, I'd like you to look at this. I'm gonna mark where
Yeah.
the proposed wetland signs are.
And then
No
we'll get
problem.
your signature so we have it for our file.
No problem.
How many units are gonna go in the entire area up there?
I think there's
Did you say 14?
36.
Is it 14? Is that too many?
14, that sounds
I
right.
think they said that
14?
yesterday. I think I asked him that yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the signs.
It's kind of a nice area with that, that low-lying area between the front two cul-de-sacs and Stanley Lane. And the-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
it
nice,
is.
it's a nice setting.
Yeah,
It's a
it
nice
is.
area.
It's a nice
Yeah.
subdivision.
Yeah, we met Jack, who was out there.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think we're going to see you again for 2 more. at
Yeah,
some
I guess
point.
he did mention that. The ones, I think they were like the other side of,
The other
they were
side.
actually
The
on
other side of the cul-de-sac away.
yeah, on the
That's
other
that-
street, Autumn Lane or whatever it was, wasn't it?
No,
Autumn?
no.
Oh,
It's
no,
on
is
the
it
same
still?
cul-de-sac.
On that
Oh,
same
oh,
cul-de-sac,
you're right.
just
Okay,
across
yeah,
the way.
yeah.
I think
Yeah, it's like
those-
6 and
those two
5 and
lots,
6 or
yeah,
something
gonna
like
have-
that.
Yeah,
Again, it'll be well, probably well
Yeah.
and some grading.
probably
for-
not the houses or anything, but yeah,
Yeah, all the houses and septic should be
yeah.
plenty out of the buffer.
Here's what I did. I got wetland plaque, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Fine.
All right?
Yep.
That's it.
Okay.
Everything else is gonna be order of conditions.
Yeah.
You show it to this gentleman, I'll have him sign the form also. And we'll sign that one. You may wanna make a note on your form.
Yeah, we got our little,
Wetland
Peg, we
plaque
got little
here at the
stickers to
end.
put on.
One here, one here.
So now we
one
stick 'em
here,
on, and
one
then you
here,
guys
one
sign
here.
it.
So that's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Instead of the
5.
stamp.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And everything else is in the order of conditions. If you'd be
It's
so
much more
kind, as
official.
to- it doesn't matter
So
where
there's no
we're
question as to
signing,
which
if you
one's
wanna
been
just make a
approved, 'cause
note
it's
that
got,
you've
you
read,
know-
you know, you realize
Although you had
this,
all, the other one
make
had
a
signatures, just
signature on
easy, it
this.
makes it cleaner.
We're all on the
No,
same
because
page.
technically all you
Sure.
have to keep
Mark
is
your
is a
copy
plan
if
once
you
it's been
want.
recorded, so.
But just so we know that you got the
You
notice,
could,
that's all.
if you know that the plans are approved, you can just pass around the sticker and stick the sticker on,
Right,
so you
right.
can pass around each plans.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, Brooke, did you tell them that those plaques are 4,000 apiece?
Yeah. I read the check.
Well, they went up. They were 2,500, but you know, everything's going up.
MONROE is my last name.
Home Depot, is that what it was?
I left you the top line as it should be. There's a few.
So those look pretty nice, huh?
Those come out good.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, actually. I thought you were gonna do a stamp, but I like those.
Yeah.
This way it's easy to find on the form
Yeah.
and
I
and
just couldn't really
everybody's on
find
the
a very
same
good
page.
stamp. I think if you looked for a stamp, but there really wasn't a very good one.
That was an Art Borden suggestion. I thought it was a great
Yeah.
idea.
Good idea.
Thank you, Art.
So you don't need a revised plan to put the signs on there.
Actually, we
Right.
don't, because we've done
No.
it here.
Yep,
If you do anything else, then you're gonna need to do a revision, but as of right now, we're good.
yep.
Okay.
This is the reason why we're doing it this way, and we all sign the plan, so that 6 months from now, when there's a modification or a change, we're not confused as to which one was the right plan and so forth
Right,
and so on.
right.
So it makes it so much easier.
We've had some confusion.
We've had some issues.
Yeah, yes.
All right.
But that's where all rules come from, right? They all come from the Yorks.
From learning the wrong,
Is it possible to get a copy of that, or?
Yes,
From you guys at some point?
yes.
You want a copy of that plan?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
okay.
I can take a picture of it too.
Yeah.
You can do that if you
Sure, Take a
want.
picture of it.
Here.
Just so,
We've all signed it if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've all
just take a
signed it. You
picture
can
of it,
take
that
a
way-
picture of the
yeah.
actual plan, and you know.
because we don't have a full-size
it's just
copy.
a file in the office, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yep, and the two are the continued, so we're good.
Whee!
Thank you.
So it's
Thank you.
minutes and
Thank you, Greg.
a violation.
Would you tell Jim Pavlik I said hello, please?
I will.
Jack
sure.
mentioned that he'd had an accident.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty,
All right, well, I worked with Jim a while ago on my property here, and just tell him I said hello, please.
yeah, he's doing well. He
Good.
still needs to have a hip. He can't walk quite right, but he's up and back
Oh,
to
good.
work. and
I'm glad to hear that.
So,
Yeah.
so
All right.
I'll let him know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good. So that's the plan.
The plan is there.
E-sign plan, okey-doke.
All right.
All right, so, let's go back to the discussion and the business. One very quick thing. Brooke, can you go to Dave Siedentop and get your key? Because Dan already has one, that would be the
Yeah.
chair's key.
Yep,
And that way you'll have one that
Yep.
you keep.
I'll
Dan,
keep it
you
right.
have mine.
I'll keep it in my drawer. I mean, if you come by and I'm not there, I mean, I can leave it in the drawer and have it locked.
I'd
if you
actually
wanna-
prefer that Dave get the hasp and put the hasp on it and put a lock on that garage and have a key and give us the keys. And to have it be the other way around.
Hmm.
Now, we're not trying to reimburse, not that I don't wanna reimburse you, so it doesn't, the money doesn't matter, but this is just better that they have more control that way.
If they get a lock, you mean?
And I'd like to see Dave put a lock on the side entrance door to that
Oh.
garage, and I don't see why they can't replace the tumbler for the garage door so that he can just unlock the garage door and open it, which is what I originally asked for in the email.
Yeah.
So now that we're all on the same page with it, and we voted on it, I think that, I'd like to see ask Dave, Dave will be more than accommodated.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dave has control of the keys and he can
Yeah.
actually give us a key. It follows the right chain, that's all. Instead of it going the other way around, because then there's a question of, well, geez, do you have really 3 keys? You only gave us 1. I'd rather have it start off there and come this way.
That's
than have
fine.
it go the other way.
That's,
So I shouldn't get one then? You mean you want
Yeah,
Dave to
no,
keep it?
you will get
Oh,
one.
I will, okay.
But it should come from Dave.
Oh, from Dave, I was saying, okay.
Dan's key will go to Savory.
Yeah.
right.
So that's.
But who should talk to Dave about the garage, which is a different animal?
Brooke can mention it, you can,
Yeah.
if you want to
Okay.
talk to Dave, I'll call him tomorrow, it doesn't make it,
Yeah.
I got no problem.
You call him
with that.
so you can explain it to him.
Once I
better.
explain it to him that this came through the vote tonight, he'll be fine with it. He'll
Okay.
notify the upstairs as he should, and then he'll accommodate.
All right, and then that'll come out of our fund.
Yeah, and that'll all
All
come out of our account.
Yeah. And the key you have is to the house?
Yep.
Okay. That's one I need to get from Dave.
Yeah, you need to get the house key from Dave, and you have to speak to Dave about putting
Second key.
a lock on the door and changing the cylinder on the garage door itself.
Okay.
The lift up door, the rolling
I'll
door.
call Dave in the morning.
All
and
right.
just let
Yeah,
him
you,
know.
you can explain the garage thing.
Okay. All right, moving on to the next order of business on the agenda. The last order is the potential violation at 18 South Main Street, which is Leiden Cottage. John
Yeah, what's
Delicriscoli's.
going on?
The pond out in the front,
There is a,
I see he's building was he putting a fountain in?
around a retaining
he's
wall.
putting a retaining wall around it. He is going to put a fountain in there. He is replacing a fountain that was there in the late 1800s and was also there in the early 1960s.
Isn't that over 100 feet from the pond?
It is, but it's wet. It's water.
Well, it's always been wet, that's why
Yeah.
he's turning it back into a fountain again.
Yes.
Because
But
every
we
time
did-
it rained, that's where the pond was.
And actually, the wall that the guy's building is beautiful.
It's
I mean,
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
wall.
so, anyway, it was just, that,
Because it was a pond, but,
It's
and
a-
But
then,
is it, but it's wet, it's not, is it wet, it's not wet lands, it's just wet land.
well, it's a pond with cattails in it, which is theoretically a wetland.
Well, because that's where the water goes, that's the low spot. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an excavated pond.
it's about 7 feet deep.
Oh, it's deep,
Right,
yeah.
but it was man-made,
Yes,
right.
it was.
so
It's
I would
man-made
argue that.
Over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I would argue that,
It's maintenance.
it's out of
Yeah.
the 100, it's maintenance, as he's trying to put it back to what it once was
Right.
100 years ago, I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with
Yeah,
that.
and that's the way we saw it.
You know.
when
Yeah.
We were there today.
I don't think there's any, I don't think it's a
No.
violation. I
And,
just
and
think-
it's a
I
safety.
saw the machines out there, I assumed he was building the wall, and then I assumed he was gonna put a fountain in the middle of it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he's doing such a beautiful job in
yeah.
that house.
And the
It's
wall is
incredible.
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Well, it's
Yeah.
beautifully
Yeah,
done.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
it's not cutting corners at all.
No. Says $60,000 on it, the guy told me.
he's got family that visits often, and he's got grandchildren, and he's a bit concerned about them getting near the water.
Yeah,
You know, every time, as beautiful as that lawn was, every time it rained, all you saw at the end of the rainstorm was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, you can tell it's very mushy.
the
Oh,
big
that
giant
was-
low,
flood,
yeah.
you know?
I was telling, that was my baseball field growing up.
Yeah.
Left field and third base was a swamp.
He used to swim to base to base.
Yeah, yeah, what I said today was you didn't have to play the bounce because there wasn't one.
So,
Yeah.
It's out of the 100, and I don't really see it as,
no, no.
No, but the question was really whether it created its own 100 as a pond.
Yeah,
that were the argument in the pond that I just filled in, that we excavated
You-
for an above-ground septic system left a hole there that filled up with water. That ended up being a pond for 10 years, but it was a man-made pond.
What was the address on
yeah, I know.
24 Vine Street.
Filled in what? A
Not
wetland?
there anymore.
that? Okay.
Filled in a
But
wetland?
that's what it was. It was, it was smooth land, and that's the sand we took out to make the above-ground septic. So now I just got rid of the pond because I was sick and tired of the water from the street running in and killing everything that was growing
Yeah.
in the pond, so we eliminated it.
Well, the contractor that we spoke to today at 18 South Main said that the lawn guy
His
Had to-
machine
had to-
fell into the thing, didn't it?
pulled his
I believe that.
lawnmower out of the pond. It slid in
Sure, I believe that.
when it was close to the edge. All right.
You all right with that, Dan?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's outside the 100.
Yeah, it's
Whatever.
outside
Yeah.
the 100. I
It's-
don't
and it's-
believe it's really wetlands. I think
And
it's
he's
wet
grandfathered
land.
in.
It's wetland.
Yeah.
It's shallow earth on a clay base.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, minutes to be read and approved for October 6th and October 20th. I don't have the 6th with me.
Oh, yeah, there was two of them, weren't there? Forgot, we didn't do the other ones last time.
Yeah, I don't,
Oh, did she put both in there?
no,
No.
not in the packet.
What?
The 6th.
Mm.
Because we remember
From
we
the
didn't do
sixth.
that, that was the,
I'd like to see us table these until the next meeting.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
all right. Yeah, I mean, she didn't,
The next meeting is gonna be a long meeting.
yeah, it's gonna be the 17th, you're not going to do anything else. I mean, there's a couple things I have to put on COC.
Why, do you wanna take the time to read through this?
It's not a question of reading through it. There's some changes that I'd like to see made to it, and I really don't wanna.
But you didn't get the 6th on that
don't
one?
have
You-
the 6th.
Did she didn't
On the
include?
20th. Yeah,
Just the
there are a
20th.
couple of things here that I
Oh,
saw
okay.
too, so.
Is it acceptable to email me changes and then I can put in the notes that they were revised?
You can actually do that, and then we can take up the revision at the next meeting, it'd be very quick. So I would like to table this until the next meeting.
Got a motion?
It is.
Second?
Second?
All right, moved and second to.
Are those minutes complicated? I haven't
These
really.
are the minutes of October 20th, I'd like to table until the November 17th meeting.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to table the minutes of October, the approval of the minutes of October 20th until the 17th of November. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right?
Okay.
How about October 6th minutes?
We don't have October
You
6th.
don't
So
have
we had it
October.
last
So-
time and we tabled it last.
Right,
Yes,
right.
but if we don't have them, and
So we
even though
didn't
it was
even-
on the agenda, so now we have to table October 6th until the 17th.
So 6th was gonna have to go with, they're gonna have
It's not,
to table
we don't
both,
have
okay.
it.
All right,
So that's the
at our-
second motion, to table the meeting minutes for October 6th until November 17th.
Okay,
Second, and with second, moved and seconded to table the October 6th minutes till the 17th of November. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none. So we're gonna have 3 sets of minutes on
Yes.
the 17th.
Yeah,
And
6th,
on the-
20th, and tonight.
17th, we're at this auditorium,
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
which I think is a very good idea.
Joe's gonna book it.
I think it will be a robust.
And I'm gonna, this, to Erickson's,
You like that?
Erickson's says 17th, but I talked to him and he'll continue to the, or I don't want another hearing on
Yeah,
that night.
that's good.
Another
So
one like that.
he'll wait till the 1st.
So all we're doing on the 17th at the
Is that.
auditorium is the polls?
I might have a COC that they have to get done before selling the property, but it's an old file, so you'll
And
be
we'll
able to
take
sign
care of
it.
the minutes before the meeting starts. Then we not let it drag out, we just get them out of the way so that the only thing left, once we're into regular business, I'd like to see if we can't put off discussion of business.
Put off
that
everything
until
else.
the December stuff and just,
Right, so we'd have to put out John Mason till the 15th of December.
yeah, that's a better idea. That's not going anywhere anyhow.
Right, till the second one in December.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
well, the first one.
No, December 1st is our next meeting.
Yeah.
John Mason will go to this second one in December, the 15th. So we just have Pine, oh, no, you're right.
The
5th to
17th of
1st.
November.
So he could go to
So
the
he
first.
goes
He can go to the first one in December,
Okay.
you're right, you're right. I'm just.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I think I already have a hearing for that. No, I don't.
That's
I don't know, I can't
fine. I
remember.
just,
Okay.
I'd like to
Yes.
see nothing cluttered except we'll approve the
Yeah,
minutes.
we'll move John Mason
and
to the-
we'll deal with Pine Gate.
Yeah.
We'll move him 2 meetings up.
It's
Yeah.
at the school and, you know, I'm sure, like I said, I think it's gonna be pretty
Mm-hmm.
well attended and rather robust.
Does it have to go to 11:15 again? I mean, well,
Motion to adjourn.
if it's just gonna get continued, if it's gonna get
Wait, wait,
continued
wait.
again, there's no point in going on and on.
One thing
I'll
to
withdraw
that,
the
just
motion to
just so
adjourn.
it's a productive hearing, is, are we allowed to maybe have, just like town meeting has, where we ask people to come prepared with, when you come up, come prepared with a question and have some reasonable time limit?
Mm.
No, none of that? All right.
The reason I think that's, and it's entirely up to the chair. Personally, this is a hot button topic. I think nothing will irritate somebody more than the buzzer going off saying, you're done. I just think it's gonna be that kind of an evening. I don't think it's gonna be as Wild West as we think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be very well contained. I think that Pine Gate's gonna come with as much as they possibly can to put everybody's mind at ease. And the residents are gonna show up with their concerns. And I think ultimately, at the end of the night, I don't think either one of those opinions are gonna change very much.
So what's a good, I mean, the thing is, that last hearing, I mean, we went to 11:15, but it got continued.
Yeah, and it
So,
may get
is it-
continued again. It's one of those things. I mean, we had town meeting that ran 2 days in a row because of stuff like this, so it is what it is.
I mean, well, you know, what's it gonna be continued for? More monitoring? I mean, I don't know. It just,
I don't
it's
know
gonna be
either.
endless.
No one knows.
We
It
don't
could be
know.
endless.
What, the facts that we're presented with on the 17th
Right,
will determine
right.
where we
right.
are at the end of the night.
Yeah.
But we have a third-party water
Yeah.
Yeah, we
water
have-
expert that's
we have
And
gonna-
it may very well be a decision by this board at the end of that evening with a motion and a vote.
Mhm.
Okay.
But sort of, I mean, talking to Joe today, yeah, I think was just, you know, of his opinion that this one round of sampling is not gonna be anything. It's not
All
gonna,
right,
you
this
know.
is not on the agenda.
Yeah, but
Right.
that's, yeah, it's
Oh,
really
right
not.
now, yeah.
We
And
can't
this
speak
is-
about this,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah.
So
So
basically,
back to my motion to adjourn.
Okay,
uh,
yeah.
motion's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we are out. Thank you all.